There's a place down by San Clemente, California called the Trestle. And a big to-do is made about the trestle going through those weeds. But what's often overlooked at many surfing spots in California, especially at the Trestle, is getting across the highway or the freeway with the surfboard. Jim Galoon and George Lanning, pausing for a little refuge on the center island. You wait for what looks like a good break in the Sunday traffic and then on across the highway.
Where'd that car come from?
Well, Jim and George never quite made it to the Trestle, but a few other surfers did. It was a typical summer morning. There was no wind blowing, slightly overcast. Dave Francie hanging onto his board. 16-year-old Robert August from Seal Beach coming left on a nice little wave. The Trestle. Here's San Clemente, California. Another good young surfer, the Trestle that morning, Tom Merrill. A beautiful turn by Jens Morrison from Oceanside, California. This is typical of the weather we have in California in the early summer months, May and June. It's usually overcast in the mornings, no wind blowing, beautiful waves. Octoon! Phil Edwards riding here. Phil recognized by most of his fellow surfers as the top surfer in the world today. If you go up and down the California coast or in Hawaii and ask all the good surfers at the various beaches who they think the best surfer is, they'll almost all agree, Phil Edwards. You'll see a lot of Phil tonight riding various spots around the world. Robert August coming right, catches an edge finally, all the way up to his belly button. And wherever Del Cannon surfs, he's always innovating, trying new and unusual things. Here comes Del with sort of an unusual pull-out. Del again, he calls this a right ear full of water type pull-out. Del hanging a whole foot. Ow! Phil Edwards coming left, purposely purling his board and then popping it back up again. Phil taking off in a long right slide. You can usually identify him because he's about 10 feet further back in the curl than almost any other surfer. There's water spraying off the top of his head or off his back on about half the waves that he rides. He doesn't go in much for head dips and fancy things like that. He does get up in the nose once in a while. But when he gets up to the nose, he always manages to get back off the nose again, which is, of course, the whole idea. You've seen Phil surf. Let's meet him now down in his hometown of Oceanside, California, looking over some beautiful boards he's built, getting ready to depart for Hawaii and Australia. He makes beautiful boards in a small shop he has down there, but the board he still likes to ride best of all is an old balsa wood board he calls Baby. It's really a wreck.